What's going on, y'all? So we've got an issue with this Big Bear where it will not run unless you hold out the choke just a little bit, and that's telling me that the pilot jet or the main jet is clogged in this. So we're gonna take the bowl off of it and go ahead and clean those jets. But to get to that, we've got to take the intake boot off, get this fuel line out of the way, and get the bolts off of the front side of the carb that bolt to the rubber manifold. So let's get some tools and we'll get it done. So first we want to get our fuel line out of the way. Make sure the fuel is off on the cockpit. If it's leaking for any reason, you may need to attempt to rebuild that as well. Next, we're going to come in here with a 12mm wrench, and we're going to get this bolt off of the side of the manifold in the carb where it mounts. There's also one on the other side that needs to come out as well. The bolt on this side is going to be right inside here. You can see that right there. So here is the boot that we need to take off. We just need to loosen this Phillips screw and then slide this boot back, and we'll be able to get the carburetor squeezed out underneath the frame rail here. So once the boot is taken off of the carb, we pull back on the carb to get the studs that are on the front of the carburetor out, and then we just pull it to the side. Move that hose out of the way. Now we still have to take the throttle cable off, but we'll get that done in just a second. So once the carburetor is slid out from underneath the frame rail, you've got 6 screws here that have to come off, and this plastic cover for the throttle cable has to come off. That way the throttle cable can come out. Now that you got the cover off, push up on the throttle, take this throttle cable and a pair of needle nose pliers and pull up. This little brass grommet will come off. Do not lose it. Once that's off, the throttle cable literally just slips right out of this 45 right here. So as it turns out, I was actually misleading you guys there for a minute. This actually has to be unscrewed from the top of the carburetor. As you can see here, you just unscrew it like this and then pull back and everything comes out, and now the carburetor is ready to put on the bench and get torn apart. Alright, so now would be a good time, if you guys haven't already. This is a drain hose, right? And that screw will let out all the gas that's in the bowl here. So before you go to take this bowl off, take it out in back of your house or something, or get a cup and drain all this gas out. That way you don't make a mess. Once you've got the gas out, you're going to go ahead and take these 4 screws here that are on the bottom of this bowl out and take the bowl off. So we'll go ahead and get that done real quick. If for some reason you're having trouble getting these screws out of the bottom of the bowl, before you strip them, go to Harbor Freight and get yourself an impact driver. This thing is worth its weight in gold. It is going to be such a pain if you strip out one of these screws and end up having to drill it out and re-tap it. It's a whole process, right? So 20 bucks at Harbor Freight, I believe it was, and they come with 4 different tips here. Smallest Phillips, you put it on the screw, hold it steady, give it a couple of taps on there, and it literally will come off like butter. So easy. Impact driver, Harbor Freight. Well, it looks like I ran into an issue, guys. So this one jet down here that I was trying to get out, it's stripped. The whole head of it, where the flathead screwdriver goes. My camera's going to be able to see all the way down in there, but give it a shot. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's rounded out. So it's pretty much done for. I'm gonna have to order a new Mikuni carburetor, which sucks because these are super expensive compared to the Amazon ones. But I do have 2 more jets I've got to take out, or try to at least. So we got this guy here, and then there's a very small one here on the side. So we'll go ahead and get these 2 out, and we'll go ahead and get them cleaned. As for the one that's stripped out though, I do have a trick for that, and what I'm going to do is take this one wire wheel piece that I pulled out. Sorry about that, trying to straighten it out. And I'm going to put it down inside there, and I am going to do my very best to just make sure that the pathway is clear, and hopefully that will be at least good enough for now so that this thing will at least run so the kids can ride it a little bit. So it feels like it's working, but I guess it'll only prove itself once we get it running again. So I'll get these other jets out and we'll go from there. So I got the main jet out, and that's what we're looking for. It's nice and clean. If yours is gummed up, just take that one wire wheel piece like I showed y'all before on the other jet, and you just stick it through here and ream it out real good, and then if you need to, put a little bit of carburetor cleaner in there and it'll be good to go. Now the downside is I'm kind of screwed on this other jet at the bottom down here. I just tried to get it out and there's just no possible way without stripping it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the wire wheel piece and pray for the best. This is an older carb and it's hanging on for dear life at this point, so we're going to see what we can do. As for the bowl of the carburetor, there is a gasket that sits in this groove around the edge. If yours is leaking, you're going to have to go ahead and replace it. This one was still working well when I took it off, but that's not to say that it's going to still work good when I put it back on. I've looked at it, it's so flat and flush with the top that it will not surprise me if it leaks. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we clean the bottom of this. There's a bunch of gunk in the bottom of this bowl, so we're going to go ahead and clean it out real good with a clean rag, spray some carb cleaner in it, and get it put back on so that we can try to get this thing put back together before the very end of the night. There is also a jet in the bowl of the carburetor. It is right there, if you can see where my finger's pointing. See if I can get a better pointer for you. It's right down in there. Flathead screwdriver should come right out for you. Hopefully, I haven't had that best of luck today. We were able to get that jet out, so we're going to take that piece of wire and just ream the inside of it really good. Make sure that it's nice and clear, that you can pretty much see through it. Y'all can see that little bit of light right in the center of that. That's what you're looking for. When assembling the carburetor, I tried to leave it flat, flip the bowl over, but if for some reason your gasket is not lying flat like it should, just flip the carb over and assemble it that way. It'll probably make it a little easier for you, but mine's not moving, so I'm going to go ahead and just put it on this way. There is a rubber grommet right here, so when you go to push the carburetor or the bowl up onto the carburetor, try to keep a finger on that grommet, because you're not really going to be able to put it on very easily once you slide this bowl and with this rod all the way up through there. So just keep that in mind. Now we're going to go ahead and put the 4 screws back in the bottom of the bowl. Alright, so for reassembly, we're literally going to go through the same exact process as when we took it off, just backwards. So take your throttle cable, put it through your 45 here, go ahead and screw that back down to secure it in place. Once that's in place, we're going to go ahead and get the throttle cable brass grommet put on this little guy here. This part's pretty simple. What you're going to do is just push up on the throttle butterfly and take your grommet, line the throttle cable up. It's going to go right in between this little gap right there. That's what that's for, is for the throttle cable to sit in between these two plates here. So once you've got that in place, now it's time to go ahead and put it back on. Alright, so once you get your throttle cable cover put back on, we're going to slide the carburetor sideways back up into its original spot. You're going to want to take your boot and pull up on it. That's going to pull it up out of the way enough for you to get the carburetor lined up. Get these nuts put on and we'll be pretty much done. Got one to do on the other side, and then I got to put the fuel line on. I believe that's about it. Get that snugged up. We don't want to put it too tight, but definitely snug. As you can see, when I go to tighten this, you can see the carburetor flex. That's because of this rubber boot. So that's why I said you definitely don't want to twist on it too tight, because you may end up ripping that boot. But you can grab a hold of the carburetor up top, and then that should give you a little bit more stability with the carb to get a little bit more of a turn on that nut there to make sure it's secure. Alright, we're going to get the fuel line back on and see if we had any success with those jets. I'm really hoping that, even though that one or two did not want to come out, that I was able to get it clean enough with that piece of wire. I'm just tightening up the fuel line now. And, oh yeah, I got to put that drain hose back on the bottom here. Alright, let's see what we've got.